India, good evening. This is Times Now. You're watching the Newshour Agenda. My name is Pranesh. This is a big victory for the Hindu side in the Gyanvapi case. There is no stopping the ASI survey, which will determine whether a temple was where the mosque has been built. The Supreme Court today refused to put a stay on the survey of the Gyanvapi Mosque. The masjid side appealed against the survey, cited the Places of Worship Act. The masjid side said that the exercise will reopen old wounds, while also mentioning the recent statement of Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath. In response, the UP Government Council assured that the survey will not harm the structure, an assurance that was already given to the High Court as well. Over the course of the hearing, the Muslim side asked the court whether an ASI survey would be allowed on any structure tomorrow if any side files a frivolous suit. That's right, the Supreme Court, and probably rightly so, said there is nothing frivolous about faith and that they are in no position to comment on this. Here's how both sides reacted following the verdict. Then we open this up.
एफिडेविट दे दिया है हाई कोर्ट में जाकर के कि मैं बिना क्षति पहुंचाए जांच कर लूंगा। उसके बाद हाई कोर्ट ने अपनी आदेश में जिला कोर्ट का आदेश को मानते हुए और आलोक तिवारी जो एसआई के टीम के नेतृत्व कर रहे हैं उनके शपथ पत्र को मानते हुए आदेश दिया कि करें, जांच करें। तो अब कौन से दिन उनको तकलीफ हो रही है? कह रहे हैं कि मस्जिद है तो आकर के जांच में बतावें ना, क्या मस्जिद में त्रिशूल, कमल, स्वस्तिक, घंटी, घंटाल और कलश, हाथी इत्यादि मंत्र मिलते हैं? अगर ऐसा मिलते हैं ताकि प्रमाण दें, उनको विरोध सिर्फ करने से थोड़े न हो।
जहां तक ज्ञानवापी मस्जिद का सवाल है तो वहां पर जो ईंट और पत्थर लगाए गए वो सारंग इलाके से आए थे और सारंग में जो भट्टे और ईंट का जो कारखाना था वहां जो बनते थे उसमें त्रिशूल का निशान या राम का निशान जो है वो इस तरीके से हिंदू कल्चर के निशानात वो भट्टे के मालिक या कारखाने के मालिक लगाया करते थे। वहां से ये माल लाया गया और ज्ञानवापी मस्जिद में बनाया गया, लगाया गया इस इमारत को। इस वजह से आज हिंदू पक्ष ये कहता है कि ये इमारत मंदिर तोड़ करके मस्जिद बनाई गई है, जबकि तारीखी हकीकत के खिलाफ है।
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
You heard the reactions from both sides. Let's open this up quickly. Vishnu Jain, lawyer, Ishkaran Bhandari, and as advocate Karan Verma, author, political analyst, Professor Atikur Rahman, also on the show, political analyst, Abdul Razak Khan, member of the Waqf Board from Karnataka. Kamru Zaman Chaudhary, Congress leader, completes the panel. Good evening, gentlemen. Now, Vishnu Jain, before I come to you, Ishkaran Bhandari, I want to start with you. Ishkaran, allow me to read out what happened in the court. This is some of the arguments. Mr. Ahmadi, representing the Muslim side, the masjid side, said if tomorrow someone files a frivolous suit, ask for a survey as to whether there is something below, will you allow ASI survey? The Chief Justice of India, no less, said, Mr. Ahmadi, what is frivolous to you is faith to the other side. How are you seeing this, Ishkaran?
What was said in court and worse has been said on various social media platforms mocking the Hindu faith. That is the problem, not from today. You see the entire ecosystem which has been doing this for hundreds of years. Mock everything Hindu, insult it, and how does it happen? You call it alternative history, or you call it creative liberty, or you call it freedom of speech. Whereas when somebody else presents even facts, then you have a street veto, then you have a mob of Sar Tan Se Juda. So this is the reality Indian society is living under, and it is extremely nice that the Honorable Chief Justice shut it down then and there. He said very clearly, as you have read out, that what you are trying to say is faith to the other side. That is in gentle language, a very strong admonition to this strategy. And I hope that the people on this panel take heed of that and do not try to mock or abuse Hindus anymore. They should heed the words of the Chief Justice of India and what is happening. And I want to congratulate my friend Vishnu Jain here, who is doing a yeoman service in this matter. But what is happening here is very, very clearly, naked eye can see something. But still, because of evidentiary rules, because of scientific proof, science has to be brought in.
Right.
Now, there are certain people who may believe Earth is flat. When they think Earth is flat, they do not want any science to prove that Earth is not flat. Now, what do you do with it? But the court, thankfully, is going with science. The court is saying, let science happen. If your case is strong, let us assume the Muslim side's case is strong. They should be static. They will win it by science. But when you deny science, it is very evident then that you are trying to deny truth from coming out. Unfortunately, in democratic India, truth will come out, people will fight, and justice will be done.
So far, they have denied science. They've blocked survey, but will they accept the truth or such, as we call it? Vishnu Jain, on the question that I asked Ishkaran, what is your take of what the CGI said?
See, I think the point is very, very legal, because if one side is saying this suit is frivolous, and the fact of the matter is that two courts have held it in our favor. The District Court of Varanasi has held on 12th of September 2022 that this case is maintainable and it is not barred by Places of Worship Act and Waqf Act. And if the Honorable Allahabad High Court has held on 31st of May 2023 that this case is maintainable and not barred by Places of Worship Act and Waqf Act, then how can just a party keep on saying that it is frivolous, it is frivolous, it is frivolous, while the fact of the matter is that there is a clear averment in our plain that we were worshipping in the premises in question before 15th August 1947 and after 15th August 1947 till November 1993. So Places of Worship Act is not attracted. So just merely by saying it is frivolous, to that the Honorable Chief Justice has replied that for
Vishnu
you,
Jain, let me ask you this. Why do you think the Muslim side is opposing the survey? Why is the Masjid committee opposed to the survey?
See, I feel that there are a lot of important facts which have to be proved through scientific evidence, and the basic theory which they have demonstrated before the trial court and the case of Anjuman Intizamiya is that this masjid was built by Aurangzeb in 1669. I think when this survey will happen, this entire theory will be demolished to ground and it will be proved to hilt that this was not a construction which was raised at Aurangzeb's time. This construction was pre-existing and dating back to Aurangzeb. This is the fact which they are scared of.
So what you're trying to say is that essentially there is a bid to block the truth. They're trying to bury the truth.
Exactly. See, the truth is very, very evident. The western wall of the disputed structure says that it's a ruins of a Hindu temple. There are Hindu mandir shikars between the three central domes. Beneath the three central domes, there are Hindu mandir shikars. The pillars on which that so-called structure is standing is a pillar of Hindu temple. Bells are there. There are places where sub-shrines are kept. Then there are various idols which are in mutilated condition. There are Sanskrit shlokas, swastik chins. Various signs are there. So point is,
on the question you have asked, you know what intrigues me is,
sir, this needs no authority. You just have to apply your mind.
The wisdom of the CJI. Exactly. As far as the question asked by you and Mr. Vishnu Jain is, why are we objecting to science? We are not objecting to science, my friends. We are objecting to when you, in the earlier survey, when you claim that we will be finding signs, you went inside, you intimidated the court officials and the ASI people, and you came running out of the Gyanvapi premises, saying that Baba mil gaye, Baba mil gaye, Baba mil gaye. Was that science, sir? That was not science. That was not a sign of science. That was unreasonable. That was dogma.
No, it is unreasonable. No, 1 minute. No, Mister. No, 1 minute. Atikur Rahman साहब, सर आपने सुना नहीं सुप्रीम कोर्ट के चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ इंडिया ने क्या कहा? अब आप वही frivolous, it is the plea is frivolous to you, fate to someone else. आपके लिए होगा dogma. It is about faith. और आप उसको ऐसे मत बोलिए बाबा मिलके मजाक मत उड़ाइए. Atikur Rahman साहब, you are a senior voice. I have great regards for you, sir. Please.
Pranesh,
let's be responsible in our commentary, please.
Pranesh, am I misquoting? Pranesh, am I misquoting? These were the visuals you saw, you kept.
But Mr. Rahman, are you saying the survey is not scientific? That's a straight question that Ishkaran wants you to answer. Is the survey scientific or not?
Yeah, now. All the things which Mr. Vishnu Jain, and I applaud his efforts, all the things historical which he mentioned, are they not enough, Pranesh? The historical evidences and the claims and the historical records are full of any doubts saying that Aurangzeb usurped this place of worship.
Oh, then you should welcome what Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath said.
Why are we wasting our state's resources?
For once you are agreeing with the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh.
Yeah.
I am glad you've taken that position. We must applaud that.
I am coming to that. Very good. A person like the Chief Minister of UP, if he can say that चीख कर दीवारें कह रही हैं, so I will say चीख कर पार्लियामेंट्री एक्ट कह रहा है.
अरे वो पार्लियामेंट्री एक्ट बीच में नहीं आ रहा है, सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने भी चीख के बोल दिया. अरे Ishkaran, the Places of Worship Act is not a barrier, not an obstacle in this case, but Mr. Rahman is trying to mislead again.
30 more seconds, my friend. Pranesh, 30 more seconds.
No, sir, let's go point by point. You are talking about the Parliamentary Act. Let Ishkaran come in. Karan, I'm coming to you after this.
Pranesh, very simply, and I on your channel only told Mr. Rahman last time, on statute book you have a murder charge, you have a rape charge, but nobody will apply it to you if it is not applicable. Same way we have Places of Worship Act, but the court has ruled it is not applicable. So you cannot keep saying that Places of Worship Act will be applied because that's what the court has ruled. Quite apart from the fact that I do believe, yes, Parliament should repeal it. They should do it. They are not doing it, which is a historic mistake. But anyway, it's challenged in court. The court may do it. But whatever happens to Places of Worship Act, it has no bearing to this case. Like murder section doesn't have bearing to this case. So please understand that simple concept.
Sir, you start.
Karan, you wanted to counter what Mr. Rahman was saying.
You want to pray.
Mr. Rahman has said, first of all, let me just set this clear, Mr. Rahman. बाबा मिल गए हमारे लिए एक आस्था का भी विषय है और इसका हिस्टोरिकल एविडेंस भी है, साइंटिफिक एविडेंस भी है, जो कि बहुत जल्द आपको पता लगेगा. And you know, Ishkaran just said, places of worship doesn't apply to this because it is about determining the character. It is not about changing the character to begin with. And look at the audacity, Pranesh. Mr. Rahman just talked about scientific. You think a fountain is scientific when you said कि वहां पे एक फुवारा था? Do you think that was scientific? You think water used to be there in Saudi Arabia at that time, or you had water pressure available for a fountain to exist there? So that is what is unscientific to begin with. And secondly, as far as historical evidence is concerned, Pranesh, in 1585, it was Pandit Narayan Bhatt on the behest of Todarmal who constructed this. And that is what Vishnu Jain's appeal is all about, that this predates Aurangzeb. And Aurangzeb, even by his historical records, as per Masir-e Alamgiri, in 1669, he gave the order for the demolition. Not just that, if we go back to our scriptures, it is clearly mentioned in our Skand Puran, Devasya Dakshin Bhage Vapi Tishti Shobhana Tasyat Vodakam Pitva पुनर्जन्म न विद्यते. आपके यहां ना पुनर्जन्म होता है, आप कहां पुनर्जन्म में फंस गए? ना ज्ञान से आपका लेना देना, ना वापी शब्द से आपका लेना देना. हमारे तो हिस्टोरिकल एविडेंसेस भी हैं, साइंटिफिक भी हैं. आपका कैसे इस पे क्लेम है? आई थिंक यू शुड मेक वे एंड वेलकम दिस एज अ चैप्टर फॉर हिंदू मुस्लिम यूनिटी. लास्ट टाइम वी हैड दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी was in 1949 when the idols were there, and for 12 years if the Muslim side had not appeared, and if not for the Shahabuddins and the Bukharis, KK Muhammad is on record that the Ram Mandir would have been made peacefully and amicably. Today we have another such opportunity, and I think that should be welcomed.
Now, Atikur Rahman, what I don't understand, if you're welcoming what Yogi Adityanath said, and you believe what he said is right, then what is the dispute about?
I never said that he is right. I said in a constitutional position, if he can say that चीख कर दीवारें कह रही हैं, चीख का पार्लियामेंट
उससे पहले आपने बोला तो था एवरीथिंग इज डॉक्यूमेंटेड. अतिकुर रहमान साहब,
एनीवे प्लीज प्रणेश, अरे जितना टाइम इनको देते हो उसका आधा तो दे दो यार.
सर ये स्टॉप ट्राइंग विक्टिम ऑन द शो प्लीज.
इवन इफ फॉर आर्गुमेंट सेक, even if we set aside the 1991 Places of Worship Act, I won't argue further. The Supreme Court on the issue of the Ram Mandir Ayodhya judgment said that the Places of Worship Act is some of the cardinal principle for secularism, maintaining that no law can
That's
set
not what the Supreme Court said.
wrongs right.
That's not the right reading of what Supreme Court said, but there's an ecosystem that is pushing this narrative, but that is not factual. Ishkaran will tell you the facts quickly. Abdul Razak Khan, I'm coming to you.
Now, one more point.
नहीं, उसमें clarity ले लेते हैं, sir, please. You can't mislead like this, Ishkaran.
Yes. Act is only declared as constitutional or struck down when it is directly in challenge before the Honorable Supreme Court. Ram Mandir case, the act was not challenged because the act was again not applicable. So that is why the constitutional validity of it has to be examined. Observations of the court have due respect, but they do not decide the constitutionality or unconstitutionality of any law. That is just a position of law. You may not like it, but that's the law.
Misleading.
It's not misleading. When the constitutional validity of an act is challenged, then it is
How is it
decided.
misleading, sir? How is this misleading?
When it is challenged, only then it is decided.
No.
How will you decide something which is not in challenge?
Supreme Court has allowed it, so how can it be misleading?
One more point, Pranesh, and I rest my case. One more point, and I rest my case. Somebody said on your panel that it is not the change of character, but determining the character. My good friend, if you determine the character, what post determining the character? It is the change of character.
अरे क्या बोल रहे हैं ये अनसाइंटिफिक बातें क्यों कर रहे हैं आप अतिकुर रहमान
that comes.
Sir, please, I am sir with folded hands, sir. Please let
determining...
logic survive for the duration of this show. Please, ऐसे मत कीजिए, sir.
Now you are playing a victim.
Change. अब आप लाइंस भी मेरे बोलेंगे. कुछ तो छोड़िए मेरे लिए. Abdul Razak Khan, what is the problem with the survey?
Fine. I rest my case.
sir. You look at the kind of proceedings happening, Pranesh. First of all, 5 women went to the court asking the court to grant them permission to offer daily prayers. It's not been 2 years. Look at the change of versions. The petitioner lawyer, Vishnu Shankar Jainji, sitting here in the panel, today states that the structure itself belongs to them and the Muslims are illegally offering namaz there. With the Supreme Court's verdict today, millions of Muslims of this country are very much disheartened and dissatisfied. What I'm trying to convey today is that Astha was given priority over a constitutionally enacted law. You know, the Supreme Court should have got into the nitty-gritties of what would happen further. I am worried that this might open floodgates for litigations and allegations and Mandir Masjid conflicts everywhere in this country today. I am saying anyone and everyone could walk into the court and say there might be a temple. Oh, come on, what logic is this when there is a temple right next to the mosque out there and they are saying that there is a temple beneath this mosque? How can this be possible?
Abdul Razak Khan,
any motive
if there is
or
1 minute, sir,
that
Abdul Razak Khan, 1 minute, Abdul Razak Khan,
cannot
1
be
minute.
theirs alone.
If there is nothing
trident,
under
a horse,
Mr.
a lotus, a swastik, all these were considered to be auspicious those days.
Abdul Razak Khan, now that you've done with your piece, listen to me, sir. Don't lose your cool. 1 minute, sir. 1 minute. Abhi survey ho raha hai, abhi ruk jaiye. Abdul Razak Khan, if there is nothing to fear, why are you saying all this? If there is nothing, the survey team will find nothing.
I feel I am again deceived. Sir, after the Supreme Court verdict, today I, a Muslim of this Hindu majoritarian country, feel that I am again deceived by the Supreme Court because I don't know who brought down
this is bordering contempt.
I don't know who
Supreme Court is deceiving you. You're deceived by the Supreme Court. You know, let's be responsible in our commentary at least. Abdul Razak Khan, please. Abdul Razak Khan, please. Would you like to?
I can't help it.
Would you like to?
It is my
1 minute,
feeling.
sir. 1 minute. Would you like to rephrase what you said?
Sir, I am forced. I am today forced.
You know, Ishkaran, this is the same narrative that we heard after the Ayodhya verdict. There are many people who are refusing to believe it. This is from the Owaisi school of thought.
Pranesh, firstly, it's very worrisome. 1 second, let me. I will come to. Yeah, it is. See, this is the sort of insidious agenda when they call it Hindu majoritarianism. Because that is why they keep playing a victim card. Hindu secularism has enabled India to have these laws. In fact, it is not secularism. It is sometimes, I feel, not even fair play to Hindus, where you have certain laws which barred. What does Places of Worship Act do? Let us start for a second for audiences. It says you can have a legal right, you can have a legal claim, but you will not go to court. It denies you access to justice. This is Hindu majoritarianism. This is how victim card is exploited. This is how the power of narrative is built up. This is how legitimate concerns of people are not addressed. This is the dangerous language they have been using since they have been using this since pre-1947. First to ask for partition. 1 second, I didn't interrupt you. I didn't interrupt you. I want to
Abdul
answer
Razak Khan, please let him speak. Please, you made a point. He's responding to that. Please, let's not talk over each other. Please, we are discussing something important, sensitive. Please, Abdul Razak Khan, 1 minute. 1 minute.
Pranesh, this is the same bogey used pre-partition to create Pakistan and East Bangladesh. It is the same bogey used to use Article 370. That is where we saw Muslim majoritarianism, where an entire community was driven out. But that will never be acknowledged. So let us please be very, very clear. This agenda, this victim card has run its course. Social media and channels like you and debates have exposed it thoroughly. There is no majoritarianism. Even today, read the articles of the Constitution. There are way more rights to minorities than to the Hindu majority under our Constitution. So please stop spreading this bogey.
When the matter is sub judice, comes out and says...
Okay, what is sub judice? Let me ask you a question.
But this is only about the survey.
What is sub judice?
The court has allowed it.
Let me answer.
Abdul Razak Khan, you are changing the goalpost. I'll tell you. Let me quote 1 minute what the head of the Imam Council has said. Abdul Razak Khan, 1 minute.
Asta has been given priority here.
No.
For a parliamentary act.
No, that is not correct. Science has been given priority, sir. Science has been given priority. Science has been given priority. This survey is scientific, which is why the Supreme Court allowed it. Abdul Razak Khan, you have a problem. You go file a revision.
I am very careful in my words. Please understand.
You are not. You are not. What you are saying, it's
that I heard the Chief Justice.
Abdul Razak Khan, please. 1 minute. I'll tell you what the head of the Imam Council said. 1 minute, sir. 1 minute. Ruk jaiye. Aise mat kijiye. Don't disrupt. Abdul Razak Khan.
That is enacted in the parliament. Sir, that is not the jurisdiction of the court.
How is it not the jurisdiction?
Because this might set a precedent. I am worried about that.
Why did the masjid side then go to the court? Ye kya bol rahe hain, sir?
I am worried about that. This might set a precedent.
Pranesh, it is okay.
I'll tell you. Celebrations broke out when the survey was stayed for 2 days. Abhi aapko problem ho rahi hai phir se? Now you are go back to the majoritarianism narrative.
Sir, we were just
Let me bring in Vishnu Jain. Vishnu Jain, when people like the head of the Imam Council, for instance, says that, people, we don't have faith in the judiciary because wo Rajya Sabha seat le lete hain. What would you tell them? How do you see this?
See, I think the entire legal battle, if you will just appreciate this, see, on 21st of July, the order was passed by the District Court Varanasi. On 24th July, there was a hearing in the Supreme Court. We participated in that hearing. On 25th July, there was a hearing in the Allahabad High Court. 25th, 26th and 27th of July. The Chief Justice of the Allahabad High Court, after hearing both the parties, passed an order on 3rd of August. And today on 4th of August, there was a hearing in the Supreme Court. So in past 15 days, all the three courts have held it in our favor. So I don't think that these kind of allegations against the judiciary are valid allegations, and I think it is contemptuous, and anyone can file a complaint, criminal complaint against the gentleman.
But I don't think Abdul Razak Khan will find it contemptuous because he perhaps shares this thought. Abdul Razak Khan ऐसा बोलना कि we don't have faith in the judiciary because वो राज्य सभा सीट ले लेते हैं. Is that right?
He enjoys all the privileges
sir,
of the Waqf
judiciary
Act.
के faith की बात मैंने कहाँ करी? मैं तो very clear हूँ sir.
That this is a Hindu majoritarian is an irony in itself, I think, Pranesh. He is enjoying all the privileges of the Waqf board.
Yes, definitely.
The Waqf Act,
Sir, बाबरी मस्जिद की वर्डिक्ट आने से पहले आपने कह दिया था. Sir, बाबरी मस्जिद की वर्डिक्ट आने से पहले आपने कह दिया था. ये तो झांकी है, वो तो बाकी है.
To then cry wolf and say कि हम मर गए, हम तो हिंदू majorитarian में रह रहे हैं. I think that exposes their hypocrisy. Today he stands exposed. That is the reason why you see a raw nerve has been touched.
And he's clearly agitated. He's lost his cool already. Kamruzaman Chaudhary, do you think the court has been wrong here by allowing the survey? Is the survey scientific or not?
No, that's another question. But first of all, I will not cast any apprehensions on the legal mechanism of our country. We, as a responsible political party, will have faith in the judiciary of the country. It might be in favor of a particular party. It might not be in favor of a We have gone over the Babri Masjid decisions. 20-25 crores Muslims in India have accepted the Babri Masjid decision with folded hands. That's the law of the land, and that's the beauty of the Indian democracy. Now out here, that's the most important thing that is to be discussed are two very important points. I hope you give me some time because I'm speaking the last. First most important thing is that, Pranesh, we do have a right to know what happened in our history. But my most important question is, do we have a right to correct that history? Maybe it was an injustice committed by a tyrant, a Mughal ruler, Aurangzeb by name.
1 minute, sir. I'm sorry. अब आप बोलेंगे. I'm interrupting you. I'm only objecting to the words maybe. Maybe क्या है, sir?
Of course you are interrupting me.
Aurangzeb was a tyrant.
Suit you. You will interrupt me.
And this is not about history. This is about injustice. Kamru Zaman Chaudhary. And the reason I came to you last because we had saved the best for the last. Here you are.
What injustice? No, Pranesh, you want a one-on-one debate? Just tell me what injustice are you talking about? The British looting us for 200 years? What injustice are you talking about?
The injustice to one community, the injustice to faith, the injustice to the belief.
No, thousands and thousands of Indians were killed by the Britishers.
Kamru Zaman Chaudhary,
do we celebrate them?
What happened?
Do we celebrate their tyranny? Kamru Zaman.
Do you want to seek justice?
He wears this as a badge of honor. Aurangzeb is clear. 4.6 million Hindus killed.
Now who is this?
No, 4.6 million Hindus killed, and you are saying maybe.
What was the population of India
He
that
is given
time?
an order on record to demolish a temple.
Bhai
He has put the jizya tax. Are you not aware of that, or are you acting so innocent here?
WhatsApp ke forward, suno, what was the population of India that time?
But sir, what is the population got to do with this? You're trivializing an important debate. Ishkaran, before we wind up.
This man.
Pranesh, it's a very
Pranesh, you have not let me complete my point. Thank you for inviting for the debate.
No, Mr. Chaudhary, don't go like this, sir. ऐसे मत कीजिए. I did not mute your mic.
Pranesh.
No, you have given uninterrupted time. I got 29 seconds to make my point only.
Okay, sir, you take 1 minute. Ishkaran, let him make his point, then I'll come to you. बोलिए sir, don't गुस्सा मत होइए, please. Kamru Zaman, sir, I have respect for you, please. बोलिए sir. I didn't mean to interrupt you, sir. I was only objecting to the points you made. Please go ahead.
No, you might have an alternative point of view, but you must also be able to accommodate the other point of view also out here. What I was just pointing out here, there might have been injustice committed against our forefathers some 400-500 years ago. There were also instances wherein the British looted us, killed us, plundered us, made us like third-class citizens in our own country. Now, do we go and fight with England and say that your forefathers have killed our ancestors? We need justice for this. This is not the way democracy functions.
Shashi Tharoor, leader of your party, is asking for reparation. We simply have a right to know our
history, but do we have the right to change the history?
Yes, no.
That's a simple point. Now the basic important point regarding to the case in this point, you see how the Vishnu Jain Saab and all the lawyers on their side are trying to lead the court in manufacturing evidence in this case, when the evidence needs to be presented by both the warring parties. Now they are using the services of the court to manufacture evidence. This is travesty of justice.
Leave it to the wisdom of the court, sir. Let's leave it to the wisdom of the court. Ishkaran, you have the last word on the show.
Pranesh, I am going to...
Yeah, we have got full faith. We have full faith in the judiciary, and I hope common sense will...
Mr. Kamru Zaman, it's my turn now. You just said. I am going to ignore all contemptuous allegations on the Supreme Court. There are too many to go into in this debate. But let us come to the facts. A very interesting point has been raised. If an injustice was done 400 years ago, should it be rectified today? There is a fundamental difference. If the injustice is continuing, if somebody occupied your property and he is still in possession of your property, then you have to seek legal recourse to get your property. So it is not a 400-year-old injustice. It is 1 second. It is a continuous. It would be a continuous. See, they don't want to hear it. I didn't interrupt you. I didn't interrupt you.
Abdul Razak Khan, Abdul Razak Khan sahab, please. Abdul Razak Khan sahab. Abdul Razak Khan sahab, 1 minute. Let Ishkaran make his point, sir. Please, he didn't interrupt any of you. Please.
Pranesh सिर्फ इतनी बात
अब सर मैं यही बोलूंगा, आप अतीपुर रहमान से देखिए, उन्होंने बोला he's arrested his case. He agrees with Yogi Adityanath. Ishkaran, make your point. I'll have to lower your fader, sir, please.
Yes. Since the question was very clearly that if an injustice happened 400 years ago, what should be done about it today? If there is a continuing injustice, if there is an injustice where there is an assertion of certain rights continuing today, then of course justice has to be done, because that would be perpetuating injustice and laying the foundation of future injustice.
Okay.
And Pranesh, if an injustice impinges on my right to worship, which is a fundamental right as per Article 25, then I have every right to go and ensure that my right is taken care of. So this injustice cannot continue.
All right, let's leave the justice bit to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court for now has allowed the scientific ASI survey. Let's see what comes out of it and how this case unfolds. I thank all of you for joining us. Let's move to debate number 2.